For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
NewsSpin is the best. Listen up. NewsSpin is the best. Me say listen up massive. NewsSpin is the best, yeah. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show all across the world. Check the signal, it blaze up the airwave. NewsSpin on your radio, hear me now. Tune in the frequency, come along, Junior. NewsSpin a vice up the place. NewsSpin is the best. Listen to the masses. NewsSpin is the best. Knowledge must abound. NewsSpin is the best. Fancy mound knock a play well. NewsSpin is the best. Papa Bonje by team, all man. A crappy land all across the globe. Echoes of voices, we join in hands in hand. How many rising with the afternoon sun? Come along, NewsSpin has begun. NewsSpin is the best. Better than every talk show. The most conscious monitor talk show in the world. The true facts about Sophia Volcano, Sandy Beach, Banana and Sneem Mango. Voices from the chat room, the capital Castries Hills. We feel you on Caribbean breeze. Teaching the truth, making hearts feel ease. Knowledge must open up every mind. Learn about your island home. We leave no one behind. NewsSpin on your radio. Pull up the volume, Jay. NewsSpin on your radio. Pull up your seats. Afternoon time. NewsSpin on your radio. Come along. NewsSpin on your radio. Let the message strong.
Thank you so much for investing your precious time in the most monitored talk show in the world. As we go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon discussing the issues in the news and matters of concern to you. You'll be able to do that a little bit later at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Jante is there, going through your comments in the chat room, and she'll be providing us with some updates. And talking about updates, we have an update regarding the island's head of state, the Governor General of St. Lucia, His Excellency Sir Cyril Errol Charles. Yesterday, we were not too certain as to the state of his health, but we have since received a press release from the office of the Prime Minister, which says that the office of the Governor General wishes to advise the public that His Excellency Sir Cyril Charles, Governor General of St. Lucia, has traveled to Martinique for medical attention. And in accordance with Section 22(1)(c) of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Mr. Felix Finisterre has been appointed to deputize for His Excellency and to perform such functions of the office as may be specified during this period. The office assures the public that all necessary arrangements have been made to ensure continuity in the execution of the duties of the office of the Governor General and the conduct of official business. The Governor General and his family respectfully request the prayers and well wishes of the people of St. Lucia during this time. His Excellency is accompanied by his wife, Lady Anisha Charles. So once again, the island's head of state, the island's Governor General, currently seeking medical attention over in Martinique, and would like to wish him well. One individual says that he is very much looking forward to the appropriation bill. And I wonder why. Here is an explanation, because he called the broadcast yesterday to make some pronouncements on this particular issue, and that is the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Alan Chasney, former Prime Minister of St. Lucia and former Minister with responsibility for finance.
I'm looking forward, Tim, next week for the appropriations bill. I think this is probably one of the most important budgets that we're going to have, because the Prime Minister is going to have to explain what his government's policies are going to be to tackle, one, the significant growing debt in the country, two, the significant increase in cost of operations in the country, and three, where is he going to make up the revenue? Because the revenue that he's obtained so far have been windfalls. And what do I mean by that? When there was inflation, global inflation, what we call the CIF prices, the cost of insurance and freight, for the containers, insurance and freight to come into St. Lucia. So the cost of goods went up in St. Lucia. And as a result of that, government collected more revenue on the same number of goods. You follow me, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the number of goods coming into St. Lucia didn't change. It was the prices went up. And because the prices went up, the VAT and excise tax that they were collected more money on the same number of goods. So we call that a windfall in revenue. There was a second windfall of revenue, that the government artificially kept the price of gas at the pumps, what the consumer pays, high, notwithstanding that the price of imported gas went down. So instead of collecting $4 per gallon, the government was collecting almost $6 per gallon. And so there was an additional windfall of revenue. And then the third one being now CIP. So the question is, do we believe that those windfalls in revenues are going to continue? I don't think so. We're seeing the price of gas go up. So the government is going to have to make a choice. If they want to maintain the same margin that they're currently been getting on a price of a gallon of gas, they're going to have to increase the price at the pump. If they don't increase the price at the pump, it means that government's revenue is going to fall, and therefore there'll be a shortfall of revenue. We're not seeing any economic growth, Tim. You know, this nonsense that the Minister of Tourism keeps coming out and talking about best year ever. Well, the numbers don't show that. It shows that Barbados and Antigua are having phenomenal years. They're showing that Martinique and Dominica and St. Vincent and Grenada are seeing huge increases in cruise arrivals, while St. Lucia cruise arrivals are down. So we're in trouble. And so the government is going to have to explain to the public what's going to be the plan. Because where we're heading is we're heading into a deep cycle of debt. And it's going to be further exasperated by the high cost of operations that the government has. We're paying more for rent. I mean, can you imagine, Tim? We have the Daher Mall where the rent is $4 a square foot. And the government would rent it to KM2 for less than the $4. So it means the government is subsidizing the rent at KM2. And meanwhile, our rental costs have gone from $60 million to $85 million a year. And when the halls of justice opens up, the way that the government is financing that project is through rent. And the rent is going to be $30 million a year. So it means that rent would have gone from 60 million to 115 million in 3 to 4 years. Where's the revenue coming to cover that? We have, and nobody's spoken about this, the largest cabinet in the history of St. Lucia. Every single person who could have been made a minister has been made a minister. They kept one person back as the deputy speaker of the House and had another person as a senator become a minister. So we have now 16 ministers of government. Never in the history of St. Lucia. So the cost of operations of the government continue to rise, and I'm not so sure there's a corresponding benefit to the people of St. Lucia, and there's certainly not a corresponding increase in the growth rate in St. Lucia. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how the Prime Minister intends to get out of the quagmire that he's created. And if he doesn't, it's going to really be at the expense of the standard of living of a lot of St. Lucians.
You just heard there from the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Alan Chasney, making a contribution during our broadcast yesterday. And of course, we're looking forward to him making his own contribution towards the appropriation bill. He's looking forward to it next week, and I'm sure that we are also looking forward to a contribution from him. Well, we are already starting to feel the effects, negative effects of that Middle East war, which is currently kind of on pause. A ceasefire of sorts currently underway. And Lucelec has already put us on notice that we'll be expecting an increase in our monthly bills as a result of rising global prices. And this is normally reflected in an increase in the fuel surcharge. So it is expected to climb to 25.5 cents per unit, and that is dramatically from just 0.007 or 0.7 cents per unit in March. And this reflects the high cost of fuel now being used to generate electricity. So already we are feeling the effects of that war in the Middle East. And if the trend continues, then the fuel surcharge definitely will increase, and that is to coincide with the high cost of fuel on the world market. So what can we do about this? Well, just continue to conserve energy and ensure that the electricity that we use at our homes, we are not wasteful in terms of leaving your fans on when you leave the room for a few minutes or a few hours. You have a lot of lights being left on in various parts of your home. So conserve, and that should result in you not experiencing a high cost of electricity when you go to pay your bills. Another issue that we are monitoring, there's a commentary that will be playing to you during the course of the program. And know that, as I said earlier on, we want to hear from you as well later at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. And your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We'll also be receiving regular updates from Jante regarding the comments in the chat room. So please stand by for that. There's been yet another strike in the Pacific, and that is by the U.S. military. Remember, it was just in February of this year, there was one such lethal kinetic strike between the waters of St. Lucia and St. Vincent, resulting in at least 3 people perishing at sea. And we are told that this would include at least 2 St. Lucians. Well, the latest is the U.S. military said it killed 4 more people in a boat strike in the Eastern Pacific Ocean on Tuesday, marking the 3rd deadly attack on vessels in the region in 4 days. The U.S. Southern Command, which oversees military operations in Latin America and the Caribbean, announced the killings in a social media post, claiming, without providing evidence, that the men killed were narco-terrorists. The U.S. military's boat strikes have now killed at least 174 people since September. And somebody has organized a particular event that is scheduled for the 27th of this month. And that event is called Tabernacle, Kinetic Strikes, Fissures, and Livelihood. Let's listen.
I've been working on this new project called Tabernacle, Kinetic Strikes, Fissures, and Livelihoods, to raise the issue and awareness around what's happening in the Caribbean and our fishermen. So I'd like to invite you to see this art installation at the CPJ parking lot this coming Jazz. See you there, the 27th of April. Tabernacle, Kinetic Strikes, Fissures, and Livelihoods.
And that is Adex Lather promoting that event, and we'll try to see if we can speak with him. I think he's on the line right now. Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Timothy. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Always a pleasure speaking with you, sir.
Likewise, and your audience.
Yes. Tell me about this event that is called Tabernacle, Kinetic Strikes, Fissures, and Livelihood.
So I guess it's an event in a sense, as in it's going to be hosted as in an art installation, which is basically an art sculpture or piece that is going to be presented. It's in collaboration with CDF, a number of partners and other persons, but basically it's an art installation. It'll be at the CPJ Orange Grove parking lot. And what it is an exploration, is something I've been working on over some time, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to provide some visibility to it. And it's about the issue of what our fishermen throughout the Caribbean and also in the Pacific are facing with the lethal kinetic strikes by the U.S. and the fact that being a fisherman is part of our livelihoods and what feeds us. So for me, I am engaging in a conversation with art to bring that issue to light. So on the one hand is to let people be aware through art what's happening with these lethal strikes, and also to make it, visibly palatable in a sense. So that's just my kind of art. But I'm working on a project. It will be brought forward and on showcase at the CPJ Orange Grove parking lot on the 27th of April. It may move to Pigeon Island for 3 days, because I also did an art installation there last year, which was on showcase. It had coal pots, and it spoke about the issues around the food, ways we eat food from a coal pot. We use a cooking, we use a gas cylinder and other things. So I had showcased something there. So it may go to Pigeon Island for 3 days, but in any event, it'll be in Bois de Wage from the 27th of April, I think, until the 13th of May.
But it's very interesting that you have taken up this particular initiative at a time when apparently not much public attention is being given to it by members of the public or even by the authorities. They're talking about people losing their lives on the high seas in such questionable circumstances without any kind of evidence being provided by the United States, without there being a trial for people who are being described as narco-terrorists.
I think I totally agree with you. I mean, I have my positions on it. I'm taking it from an art perspective, as in I'm visually presenting this. But I do welcome what you've said. I think in the absence of what position the government takes, I think it's personal to me in that I've taken some time over the last number of months. I've been going through every fishing village, met a number of persons. I've gone to Mikud. I've actually seen part of the boat that was in Mikud and bombed, met with the persons who've made it. And I mean, it's a sad situation that when we talk about law and violence, we would imagine that the fishermen are working within the law. But look at what's violently coming in and actually killing them. And I think I remember as a child growing up and looking into the marina, we'd see these large yachts coming in and we say, money coming in, that is drugs coming in. Current day sort of mental psyche is that now the US, through these strikes, are trying to make us believe that the drug trade is happening through the fishermen. And I think that's a farce. And I think we need to be clear on, we know where the drugs are moving through and how they're moving through. The vast majority and amounts are not moving through fishing boats. So I think that is part of the conversation to be had. I believe CID or the Marine Police have the boat. It's part of an investigation on their part locally. But let's be serious. Who in this day and age is going to go up against the US and question what they're doing? These are fishing boats made out of, fiberglass and wood. Going up against a lethal kinetic strike, we're talking about metal and we're talking about advances in technology that damage and kill and take lives. That's a mighty US, and we're living in empire. And this is something to be questioned and brought forward. And I think how we question it and talk about it as a community, as a society, as a region is important. And I'm just trying to bring a light to that.
Those people who are presiding over our affairs are supposed to be representing our interests. Do you think they are worth being called leaders if they cannot represent our interests when such issues, things of that nature, occur in such gruesome circumstances?
Boy, that's a tough one, I think we can call them leaders. The question is, our leaders don't have the tools to be able to address this anymore. And then that's the reality, I'm a leader in my own right, but do I have the capacity and the tools to address this against the mighty US or bring this conversation to them in a different way? I don't. And I think it's no different for the politicians. I think it's no different for those who protect our borders. I think it's no different for the police investigating. Like, this is we're going up against empire. And this is the reality of where we are, that the current administration in the United States can go into another country, sovereign country, and just bomb them because they want to. So what is happening for us in the Caribbean should be spoken about. I think the reality is, in the absence of where the leaders are, what tools they have to address this, which administration can address it or not, I think our fisher folk, it is being affected. People are going out and risking their lives to feed us, but also now risking because they risk being bombed, because if they go out at night, it could be perceived to be something else. So I think for me, that side of the conversation needs to be brought forward, and maybe as a community, as a region, we can speak to it more loudly. But I support what you're saying in that not just locally, as in St. Lucia, as the government, regionally as CARICOM, or whether it's OECS, we haven't actually spoke to this issue and pushed back against it. And it's difficult, and I don't doubt that it's difficult for those who are there because they may not have the tools to be able to do it or the capacity. We don't have an army. We don't have other things. What can we negotiate? Tariffs? I don't know. But the point is we're not addressing it, and lives are being lost, St. Lucian lives. And even before I started working on the project, I had no intention, just because a St. Lucian life was lost, to speak on it or work on it. I've been working on it since it started to happen. And it's happening in the Pacific region also, not just Caribbean people are being killed. and they are being unlawfully killed. And I think that's the issue I want to bring forward.
At the end of that project, what would you want to achieve?
For me, anything I do is about showing the savage beauty and the life of what we live in. The intention behind this one at the moment is more of a moving art installation. I've gotten a great reception from Guadeloupe, so the intention is that it would move to Guadeloupe and become part of an exhibition there for the month of June. It will stay for possible continuing exhibition there at another gallery, possibly until September. And my hope is to bring it to the United States in December for Art Basel, if I can. But these are expensive endeavors to do. The fishing, to even own a boat or to move a boat, these things are expensive livelihoods. And I totally respect and want to bring issue to the topic. But the point is to move it across the region in the Americas so we can actually start opening the conversation that our fishermen should not be branded as narco-terrorists, should not be used as a scapegoat, and let's focus on who exactly or who is moving the transshipment of drugs, and it's not our fisher folk.
Thank you so much for speaking with us on this afternoon's NewsSpin program, sir.
Appreciate you, Tim. Thank you.
Welcome. Just heard there from Alex Lava. He's an artist. In a moment, we'll be hearing a commentary, and that commentary is by a particular individual. Familiar with him, he's Jimmy Haynes. But first, let's have a laugh, okay? And then we will hear from Mr. Jimmy Haynes.
I need to that. Midday or otherwise. I need to that. Midday or otherwise. I need to that. Midday or otherwise. I need to that.
Weekly pre-cabinet press conferences, we have seen a pattern. When difficult questions arise, when discomfort sets in, there is a cynical laughter. Not random laughter, but laughter used to soften the moment, to distract, to deflect from the weight of the issue at hand. But if you listen closely, St. Lucia, if you watch carefully, the message beneath the laughter is very clear. Because in recent weeks, the Prime Minister has made statements that reveal much more than perhaps he intended. On one hand, in the House of Parliament a few weeks ago, he chastised the leader of the opposition for not speaking when instructed, or should I have said, when he instructed him. And then, shortly after, he admitted in the pre-cabinet briefing that no one can dictate when the leader of the opposition should speak in Parliament. Ça y est, un couteau de lame. Un couteau de lame. On another occasion, he reminded us that in the House, members can say anything under the protection of parliamentary immunity, and that by the time the Speaker intervenes, the words have already been spoken. Now, you must listen to a man when he tells you what he does. Think about that. Because that is not just an observation, that is an admission of how the system is being abused, misused, and corrupted by this government. It tells us that statements can be made, damage can be done, and even if those words are later removed from the official record, they are never removed from the minds of the people. They live on social media, on broadcasts, in the public's consciousness. But this is where the pattern becomes undeniable. The immunity of the House is being used not as a shield for truth, but as a weapon to make allegations, as a weapon to attack character, and as a weapon to stain reputations without consequence. They did it when they sat in opposition, and now in government, they continue to do it with even greater reach and effect. But St. Lucia, when reputations are stained, let us not pretend it ends there. The damage follows those individuals into their communities, into their constituencies, and into the ballot box. It diminishes credibility, it erodes public trust, and it affects a person's chances of being elected or re-elected. So don't you believe that this is accidental? This is divisive, evil, partisan politics. But it does not stop there, because the Speaker of the House has a duty, a sacred duty, to uphold the standing orders without fear of favor. And when there is a delay in doing so, when there is silence, when clear breaches are allowed to pass, especially when improper motives are imputed, then that inaction has consequences. Whether inadvertent or otherwise, it enables the very conduct that is undermining fairness. It allows the damage to be done before order is restored. And in doing so, it contributes to the erosion of confidence in the chair and the House itself. So we must ask ourselves, St. Lucia, what is the House of Parliament being used for? Is it being used to advance the business of the people? Or is it being used as a platform for partisan attacks, protected by immunity, designed to damage opponents and shape public perception? Because when the highest office in the land normalizes this behavior, when the rules meant to safeguard fairness are not enforced with urgency, and when reputations are targeted in a way that influences electoral outcomes, then we are not just dealing with politics. We are confronting a deeper problem, one that strikes at the integrity of our democracy itself. But St. Lucia, you deserve better. You deserve leadership that does not hide behind laughter when accountability is required. You deserve a parliament that does not trade in accusation instead of action. And you deserve institutions that stand firm, act swiftly, and protect the fairness of our democratic process. Anything else, St. Lucia, is a disservice to the people of this country.
A commentary by Jimmy Haynes called The Abuse of Parliament. Let's hear from you at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let me turn my attention to Jante and your comments in the chat rooms. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim. Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, Speedy Cavalry to you, Sir Charles. Some people are very strange. Many people know that drugs are coming through in boats. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, so he can be airlifted to Martinique. But what about the poor man? Why didn't he travel to the stadium for treatment? St. Lucia, do you hear? When they are sick, they travel overseas for medical attention, but they cannot provide us with proper health care in St. Lucia. St. Jude's is still incomplete. We have another comment here saying, Tim, someone had to say that the GG is sick for PJP to put it out there. Oh, Martinique, why not Tapio? We don't even get the big cruises anymore. We have a few more comments reading. When the big guy is sick, they fly to Martinique. So what are they saying? Is it that they don't trust our nurses and doctors in St. Lucia? When last has St. Lucia's waterfront seen a big boat? True, my leader, you are so right. A failed Labour government. We have another comment here reading, had the state-of-the-art hospital started by Alan Chasney and the UWP been completed according to plan, probably the Governor-General would have been treated at that facility instead of Martinique. PJP will raise the price of fuel to $50 a gallon. Then he will hold a press conference to thank St. Lucians for accepting it. When certain people fall sick in St. Lucia, governments are quick to send them overseas for treatment. So they are the ones who voted for the government. We have more comments from our Facebook page saying, is this event sponsored by the government? Wasn't it the same Labour Party that criticized the Chasney government for having the largest cabinet in 2016? 5 years later, they have done worse. How many of them cannot even get a basic test of medication at our health centers? But they are still defending the same government. We have another comment here saying, even though we can't do anything physically, but we should always speak out against these unlawful killings in international waters. Caller, no tools to do anything, not even speak about it. The US military has technology to see everything on the waters. They are not bombing boats for no reason. And our final comment saying double standards.
Thank you so much, Jante, for that update. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026 via WhatsApp. Somebody says, Tim, what tools does our government need to address the bombing of fishermen at sea? The only tool needed is courage. Our Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, they lack courage to open their God-given mouths to speak up for us. Another WhatsApp message, and it says that the comparison between Philip JP and Alan Chasney is like night and day. While we are counting, has anyone seen an accounting for last year's jazz with another jazz season approaching? A call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, Gola. Good afternoon.
I'm your
Jante.
Jante. Tim, I want to address a couple of news items that's most come on DBS, I think, and you actually played back parts of them on this program.
Mm.
And I'm speaking in my former role as a professional accountant, as an auditor. And I'm speaking also as a former president of the Caribbean Institute of Chartered Accountants. And at one time, I was the representative for the ACC Assembly in Latin America and the Caribbean. And I say all this to show the from where I come. I noticed that,
and we like to identify you, sir, as Mr. Frank Myers. Continue.
Yes, I'm fine. I noticed that the Prime Minister recently, in a sense, threw the auditing profession under the bus when he suggested that one of the reasons for the late report of the CIP unit was, in the first place, he said that there were insufficient auditors in St. Lucia. And in the most recent report, he attempted to paint some sort of complexity to the to the process of auditing. I don't wish to speak for the auditors of the CIP because Grant Thornton is one of the oldest firms in accounting in St. Lucia. I think they are quite capable of speaking for themselves, but by nature of the profession, they probably will not do it. Now, what I need people to understand is that auditing is a very, very complex thing in today's environment. But the thing is, procedures and practices have been developed over the years to the extent that an auditor rather, can audit any organization provided that they have the competence and stick to the rules. Now, Grant Thornton is a firm of international connections, and an audit done by Grant Thornton is similar to an audit done in any part of the world. And the key thing about an audit is making sure that you don't take on an audit that you are not competent to, and you have the staff, you have the organization, etc. to do it. Now, the profession ensures that this happens by making sure that, firstly, the people who are presenting themselves as auditors are indeed auditors, in that you must have a practicing certificate, both from your parent body, your institute. Some of us are members of the ACCA in England, the CPA in Canada and the US, and also a practicing certificate from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Eastern Caribbean. Not only that, but auditors are required to pursue continuing professional education every single year. And not only do you have to undertake that training, but you have to provide evidence that you have done it. Now, again, a firm like Grant Thornton would adhere to that requirement very, very, very strictly. So when I hear this thing about the thing being difficult and etc. and so on, it is in a sense saying the wrong signal out to youngsters who may wish to go into the profession, and also feeds the narrative that auditors are always to blame when things are late. There's a considerable amount of planning that goes into a preparation of an audit to ensure that the client is delivered on time. And something like the CIP, this is not the first time Grant Thornton would have done the audit. They would be ready for it, in that they would make sure that the staff is the proper staff is assigned, experienced staff is assigned. There is room within their planning, because don't forget, there are lots of clients that you've got to audit. So they would fit in spots in the schedule for the audit. And to the extent that the client misses a deadline in terms of delivery of information, the auditor is not going to sit and wait for you because they've got other people to go to audit. So you may actually lose your place in the sequence of things, and they'll get to you when they get to you. So the idea of saying that the difficulty in doing auditing and so on was late is the cause for the thing being late. I think that is unfair and misleading. And one other thing that points to that is that you have to understand, maybe you don't understand, but I'll explain now. The report of the CIP is like a booklet. And within that booklet, you will find information that is there put together by management, and it goes into the report. And the audited financial statements also goes into that report. So the entire thing forms the report. Coming out of the audit of the financial statements by the auditor, they come up with the independent auditor's report, it is called. And it tells you what it does. On the first page of the booklet, it tells you that we have conducted our audit. They tell you how they do blah blah blah. Then there's a section called Other Information. Other information consists of the information included in the unit's annual reports other than the financial statements. Okay? So you have the financial statements and you have other information. And our auditor's report thereon, management is responsible for the other information. What this is telling you is that the auditors did not audit the other information. They audited just the financial statements, right? For this year, there's a paragraph that you will see. The audits I'm looking at 2024 financial statements. I'm sure this one is similar. The unit's annual report is expected to be made available to us after the date of the auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. So what they're saying there, at the time they signed off the audit report, they did not have the other information. So I think it's very, very unfair for the Prime Minister to inform the nation that it is the auditors who are responsible for the delay in the publishing of the report. Because I know that for the 2025, that's this one we're looking at, the auditor's report was signed off at the end of November. So if it was signed off at the end of November, why is it being released in April? And the only reason it could be released so late is that the other information was not ready, and so the auditor could not have looked at the other information to ensure that the other information ties into the financial statements. And there's a good reason for that, because it is possible there's information put into the report by management that is not consistent with the auditor's understanding of that information. And if that is so, and the information is such as to cause the report not to be reflective of what really happened, they may have reason to recall the report that was written previously and advise all concerned that that is not so. So it's a very serious thing, and this light manner in which the Prime Minister is throwing out things that he does not quite understand, I think he's got to desist from it. Nobody expects him to be a qualified accountant or an auditor. But least he can do is speak to people who understand that. So when he's speaking, he does not mislead anyone at all. Otherwise, we are being thrown under the bus as regards. That's the standard thing, the auditors were late. That's not so. Now, the other aspect of it now, even after you have conducted the audit, and I sit as chairman of what we call a practice monitoring committee, in that we have an arrangement with the ACCA whereby somebody comes in and reviews the audit file to ensure that the audit opinion that's issued is consistent, is supported by the work that was done. And to the extent that does not happen, recommendations are made to the audit firm in particular that they've got to improve on the work, etc., and so on. And if it could get to the stage, although it has not happened in St. Lucia, it could get to the stage where an auditor could actually have his practicing certificate removed from him. So it is not a fly-by-night affair. This is a serious matter. We operate like every properly regulated profession does, and we should not be drawn into a situation where people will say, look, it was the auditor's fault, we didn't get the statements out in time. Far from it, from all what I'm reading, that's not the way it works. So I needed to get that information out to people in general.
But let me ask you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, hold on, Mr. Myers. In such circumstances, after the auditors have completed the task that they were given, in terms of thoroughly going through their work to determine whether, the work of the CIP unit and the government by extension in terms of collecting the funds and being able to account for its proper use and so on, who does that? Do you think that there could be a member of a certain body that could come up and educate the St. Lucian public on this? Because that report, ordinary St. Lucians going through it, I'm sure that they might not be able to unearth or understand the jargon or what's in it. They would have to depend on the government to report on something that they themselves are presiding over.
I quite agree with you there. It makes for difficult reading, although this one is not too bad, but it does make for difficult reading, and it should be in the interest of the unit, the CIP unit, to ensure, because we see advertisements out all the time, the INC, what is the INCIP or whatever. It's in the interest of them to get people to understand these statements the way it comes out, because don't forget, an entire year's transactions are being compressed into a few pages, 20, 30, 40 pages. And the average person in St. Lucia will not be expected to understand some of the complexities of these and some of what the numbers mean. So I think it's only fair. Now, funny enough, I think this is what some of the parts of the report where the management attempts to explain the numbers. I don't think they go far enough. That's my own personal opinion. And a lot more can be done to explain to people where the numbers come from so that people can fully comprehend these reports. For example, these financial statements do not reflect the proceeds of and I'll use this word loosely, if I don't like using it, they do not reflect the proceeds of the sale of the passports, right? Because what it is, people make applications for citizenship, and by virtue of getting the citizenship, they get the passport. But in so doing, they've got to invest monies in various ways. Those monies are not reflected in these financial statements. And that is something that a lot of people don't understand. Because now they keep on hearing about millions of dollars missing, billions of dollars missing. And you look at this statement and you wonder, but where is this? We don't see those numbers here. The proceeds of the sale of the passports does not appear in these financial statements. Neither does it appear in the report in any way, shape, or form. I think that certain information can be put in there to allow people to understand the flow of the dollars, and then we can see clearly what is going on. But at the moment, the way it is, it does not. It is not clear to the average man in the street.
All right, Mr. Bass, thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Thank you so much for your input. And we'll be in just a moment going through some of your reaction via WhatsApp messages. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Celebrate the extraordinary women in your life this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts. Join us on Sunday, May 11 for a day dedicated to honoring Mom. Choose from 3 spectacular celebrations. Treat Mom to the elegance of our Pretty in Petals event at Bay Gardens Marina Haven for EC $160 per person. Experience jazzy vibes and culinary excellence at our Jazzy Mother's Day brunch at the Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn. A perfect blend of entertainment and indulgence for EC $175 per person. Enjoy a toast to Mom at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa, an upscale afternoon tailored to your special lady for only EC $200 per person. Children ages 4 to 12 receive 50% off, and children under 4 are absolutely free. Book by May 4th and receive a 10% discount on your entire reservation. For reservations and for more details, contact us at 457-8045 or send us an email at marketing@baygardensresorts.com. Create cherished moments this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts.
What happens when the music is stripped down to the truth? On April 29th, First National Bank presents the Teddyson John Experience at the luxurious Royalton Resorts. Raw vocals, live music, real emotion, an intimate night where Teddyson John opens the heart of the music. Also from Trinidad and Tobago, featuring Nyla Blackman. From St. Lucia, Michael Robinson. Herb Black. I'm so sorry. Umpa. And Ricky T. Sharing their stories behind the songs and connects with you up close. This is more than a concert. It's a feeling. Stripped, April 29th. Royalton Resorts, limited seats. One unforgettable night. It's definitely my type of night and my type of vibes.
Tickets for this event are $100 USD, food and drinks inclusive. Ticket locations: Anthony's Jewelry, Castries and Baywalk, The Wave, and online, fourcirclestickets.com.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Saving energy is what's smart.
Ouais, messie, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, me money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pump. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni tout pump pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pump set ici. Yo ka ranger pump aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glow ka fante. Europa ni pump glow Léo under pour les nerfs, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true. With a mortgage built around you. Feeling here to make sure everything's smooth. 100% financing, it's true. Get a First Wish mortgage, it's the best move. Get your mortgage now and fulfill your first wish. Just knowing that First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true.
Visit your First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com to apply for your First Wish mortgage.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Stop. How much more pain can you take? Back pain, blinding headaches, numbness, weak knees, spinal injuries, stroke. You've tried everything. Nothing works. Enough. La Clinique du Corps has the experts and technology to diagnose and fix the problem permanently. Our specialist doctors use cutting-edge solutions to treat back pain, knee pain, sciatica, stroke recovery, spinal injuries, arthritis, heel pain, and more. With advanced pain management techniques, we provide fast, effective relief so you can live pain-free. La Clinique du Corps is an approved universal healthcare service provider in St. Lucia, accepting all approved insurance. Take back your life. Call La Clinique du Corps right now at 451-6559 to book your appointment. Pain stops here.
Experience the rhythm, feel the soul, embody the atmosphere where foundation transcends. Set against the breathtaking beauty of Point Vierge, where lush cliff meets the ocean blue. Welcome to Jazz of Vierge 2026, presented by the First National Bank. It's an experience. Headline in the action: international reggae icon, Jam Messenger, Luciano. Joined by some of St. Lucia's top-notch musicians, Michelle, Michael Robinson, so let's couple up to my cup. Level 4, backed by the Impulse Band. Also featuring Rupert Lay Jazz Trio, 6 Mile, Cheryl Francis, St. Lucy's Steel Pan, and more. Regular tickets are $125, VIP $300 EC. Get your tickets at The Cell, Knights Gas Station, Miku, and Rose Madine. Online at 4circlestickets.com. Sunday, April 26th. The gates are open from 1 p.m. Showtime 3 p.m. Jazz of Vierge is powered by 4 Circles Tickets. Wear white and join us for an unforgettable experience.
If that Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy, you'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Let's continue with some of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, you know a country where there is no opposition. Do you know what does happen? Lawlessness, more corruption, more scandals, fraud, scam, and more lies, etc. All big countries have opposition. This is how you can hold the government accountable. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that, Tim, the circus continues. The Prime Minister continues to be a stranger to the truth to cover up for his cohort ministers. They continue to shun their accountability and transparency by blaming every other entity but themselves. The blind leading the blind blindly. It is so sad that so many Lucians do not think objectively and constructively in order to hold these ministers accountable. Hence the reason why the Prime Minister just shouts nonsense and garbage every time he opens his mouth, taking advantage of the gullibility of so many St. Lucians. Embarrassing government. Another WhatsApp message, and somebody says that Tim appreciated Mr. Myers' information. Don't think Mr. Myers mentioned the management letter. This document specifies all the issues, concerns uncovered during the audit. My question is, will the management letter be included in the CIP financial report for public consumption? Probably Mr. Myers can inform us. Many thanks. Again, that's according to a WhatsApp message. And somebody also says there, good afternoon. Great contribution by Mr. Myers. We need more independent professionals coming out to lend their voices on the issues of national interest in this, our beloved St. Lucia. Or maybe it is that they do not care about their country, just how they and their loved ones benefit from the ills going on in the island we all call home. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Bon après-midi tout mon people, bon après-midi tous ces chrétiens.
Bon après-midi, monsieur.
Le 7 septembre disons ça. C'est pas nous parler politique. Après l'élection a passé et nous les politiques toujours. C'est pas ça qui amène le pays à devant. Ça qui tient le pays à pli en air. OK, nous avons supporté un gouvernement, nous avons 14 places au Parlement. Et nous supposons regarder qui ça y a fait par nous.
Mais, Colin, pas du temps nous qu'à regarder, nous ça parler, Colin, ça pas un wrong pour nous parler. Ouvre les moun, mettez caca en bouche moun. Westay like this is chocolate, this is chocolate, dis-du, mais pas dit, c'est caca qui là, et dit ça pas voué, et puis disconcier by là.
Ouais. Moi d'accord pour nous parler ça mais ça est pour nous garder nous la attendre au gouvernement nous mettre en pouvoir nous bailler 14 places au parlement nous ça parler mais nous pas supposer découvrir gouvernement pour qu'on fasse ces bagages ça là parce que si c'est d'accord nous pas d'accord avec opposition qui était là l'opposition nous pas d'accord avec gouvernement
qui ça écoutez-moi qui ça qui fait l'après-midi à ce programme là écoutez-moi qui ça qui fait l'après-midi à ce programme là qui fait un courrier pour dire nous parler pour parler de politique, c'est que nous avons électé un gouvernement. Qui ça qui fait dans le programme là pour média pour vous dire ça?
Non. Rien pour vous faire. Moi, lorsqu'il y a une opinion, moi, Tim, c'est pas rien pour dire moi.
Mais n'a pas opinion moi aussi because moun ka fait moun ka fait accordé just because we elected a gouvernement. Ou ba yo, comment c'est 16 seats. Ou ba l'autre side yon. Et puis quand sec mois après ça, gouvernement là, ou pas ça dit rien sous gouvernement si rien qu'a fait qui pas bon rien. Ou pas pour dire rien sous ça. Non, comment? Un chai dommage, ça fait bonheur. Un chai dommage ça fait bonheur, colère.
Oui, mais ça me veut dire là, Tim. Regardez, nous pas satisfaits de nous mettons au gouvernement pour travailler nous.
Oui.
Avec nous anticiper le travail nous. Mais ça regarde là, écoutez ça bien. Si gouvernement pas qu'à travailler, laissez claner à bout. Nous qu'à vietier.
Non.
C'est plus mauvais bail.
Si nous pouvons rester pour 5 l'année, de nous veillons nous pas en chilon sur nous. Nous pas en chemise sur nous. Nous pas en soulé à pied nous. Et que nous rester pour 5 l'année nous pas parler. Gouvernement whether ou électé.
Gouvernement ça qui là.
Ça veut dire?
Pas gouvernement ça qui là nous qu'à voter ça chilon.
Quoi ça m'a dit comme quoi.
Mais quand même chaque monde opinion yo et chaque monde on voit pour parler. Bon écoutez moi. Moi seul ça m'a dit. M'a couiller les ministres qui responsable pour agricole. Monsieur politicien. Moi v'lou pon
madame qui in charge agricole. Madame.
Oui. Eh ben madame, moi v'lou descendre vieux fort. Côté invest tout ça bail on ti terrain pour mettre yon sans bœuf. Moi v'lou descendre là et garder ces bœuf là qui là, garder les taillots.
Pas dire rien. Côté moi. Il bonnet toujours.
Yes.
Il bonnet toujours. Pas dit madame rien. Il bonnet. Nous électons un gouvernement, nous baillons 16 seats. Pour qui ça va parler about ça encore? Qui c'est bœuf là garçon. Il bonnet. Il est bonnet.
On peut dire qui ça pour
on peut dire actuellement on peut dire
oui
garçon actuellement on peut dire
mais ça me là nous fait 9 mois avec côté te dit ces bœuf là la base de ces joie là moi voyez 7 mois moi l'école les bœuf là et toi les autres moments là leader opposition les toi pour voir il démolit pas là complète et qui dit nous Ivory Watch des soleil nous t'en brancher l'autre manière nous c'est pas bœuf là pour te voyer sur l'école tout ça et qui vend à baïti au hakim pour moins qui $1 par acte les nous dit nous kabali $1,000 par acte louer chote à nous il pas pour nous il baïti au hakim et aujourd'hui à place ça là tout nos malédiction so me ka couiller les ministre qui responsable agricole ministre là s'il vous plaît nous voulons place nous vier parce que ça a une tape quoi abandonné nous voulons nous place nous vier souple pour nous mettre bœuf nous pour nous continuer avec la vie. C'est ça n'a couillé le ministre agricole pour faire nous souple nous place nous vier et place là à côté baïti qui n'a point ça a abandonné.
Pli Bougladi il pas pli Bougladi pas bail tu Hakim te point c'est pli aux autres cas dit même bail là. Bougladi comme quoi Tio Hakim Bougladi comme quoi Tio Hakim gagne et quand même $1,000 pour qui ça style ka dit yo baite à pour $1 quoi évidence là
peut-être qu'on peut passer moi team so dit moi ka stand ça ka dire moi ka analyser
ma connaît pas ça moi ka do pour un premier ministre l'OTAN Alain Chastain a dit comme quoi il pas jamais bail Tio Hakim te pour rien mon style ka dit ça
OK ben là OK team la voter kay sodo pour la voter sodo pour tout cette lycée ça qui ça qui te prend coup mais ça dans là c'est ça il couille de nous il voit sur Williams ça croiser pas là nous try ba sur Williams yo dit nous sous nous pas sur notre tracteur yo ka passer nous la teni bailler pour te géber yo quoi anyway team on qui bon ça me veut dire encore terre machine là ni deux ministres qui responsable pour terre et caille là ni pour terre caille là ni pour trafic machine di font bail nous à présent yo mené moi moins viwe pourtant avant côté yo te ka croiser caille moun et côté yo te ka démoli caille moun et ka présent yo ka prend machine depuis machine pas ka sam sa yo ka tim c'est pour aller dans plan vieux fort là pour machine moun yo mettre là et tout moun dans ça ka prend pièce ka fait tout bagay moi pas d'accord avec ça pièce gouvernement c'est comme ça 6 autres ka prend machine malheureux 6 autres viennent là pour faire malheureux méchanceté de les autres candidats qui viennent les bas 6 autres viennent là pour faire mon méchanceté souple pas précaution parce que ça qui veut leader opposition quand arrive les autres même. Merci Tim, nous avons encore merci pour votre ça là bon demain nous.
Aussi, merci beaucoup. 452-2979 WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if we have
Hey, good afternoon, Tim and John T.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Yes. Okay, good afternoon, and John T. Tim, this morning I listened to things that make you mad. I called Stanley, but he didn't. I got through, but the call they had a WhatsApp issue. The WhatsApp wasn't WhatsApping this morning. I heard Stanley and Vanetta speak about, I think her name is Vanetta, I think so, and about what happened in the House at the end of the proceedings where the Prime Minister presented the statement of revenue and expenditure. Like most of the clips I've heard and I've seen, people have sent and shared, they all lamented about Shasney walking out of the House, and that's the topic. And everybody is Stanley even called him the master of chaos or whatever he called. And that's deliberate, because one thing I heard none of them say, I'm not saying they didn't say it, but other clips I heard and even listening to Stanley this morning, he did not say that Shasney walked out after the Prime Minister and the Speaker had closed the debate. You know that, right? After they had closed the debate, where he couldn't speak and the other three ministers, remaining ministers, couldn't speak, that's when he walked out. I'm not sure what they wanted him to do. The debate was over. He wouldn't get to speak, so he walked out. I don't know why our people miss the relevant points. And they gave them a bone to make an issue out of it. And supposedly smart minds, people you expect to know better, like Stanley, they did no research. They don't evaluate anything. They don't even look for the truth. They just run with the talking points. And I was so disappointed in him this morning. I called to tell him that, but I didn't get through. But both went on to berate Shasney. And I hate to explain the rudiments of the workings of the House and the standing orders to Stanley. As somebody in the media, somebody who's close or in the belly of the beast, he should make it his business to know these things. Neither one of them seem to know that after the Prime Minister presents, there is no particular speaking order. As far as I know, you put on the lights, the Speaker calls upon the person he saw first or he thinks he saw first, and then that person speaks. So they berated the man for not speaking when it's his turn. There's no turn in the House of Assembly. Stanley, I expected Stanley to know that. No, he went on to say Shasney is wasted. Shasney is getting $25,000 a month for the office of the leader. No, he didn't say that. He said the government spends $25,000 a month on the office of the leader of the opposition. That includes everything, rents and everything else. And so we have a right to him speak. I agree with him. But it's not Shasney preventing himself from speaking. It's the Prime Minister and Claudius who prevented him from speaking. And if he wants value for his money, if Stanley really wants value for his money, the government spends much more, many millions more on housing, on tourism, on external affairs. So we didn't get to hear the people that's getting more money speak. That's Hilaire, Alvar, and Frederick. And that's to show how disingenuous these people are. If you're going to talk about this and you're going to be honest about it, then paint the whole picture. He went on to say the world is a messy place and things are going haywire and we should have heard from Shasney. No, really, the world is a messy place. Like a professor from Yale University, I think her name is Amy Chua, said, the world is on fire. She even wrote a book by that name, World on Fire. Stanley rightly said we need to know how we're going to navigate it, but it's not on Shasney to tell us how we're going to navigate it. We have a minister who's been paid, Alva Baptiste, who was supposed to be the one the Prime Minister and Claudia should have let speak for us to know exactly how we're going to navigate that fire which the world is on. And if you want honest debate, you have to let the ministers speak, because what happens in St. Lucia, and you know that, and I know that, and all of us who are honest know that, the minute Shasney speaks, the whole debate turns about everything Shasney said, and we, the public, miss out on what the substantive stuff the ministers were going to say. Anything they were going to say about the budget, about the statement of revenue and expenditure, whatever the situation is, they all turn around and attack whatever it is Shasney said. And we are deprived of what the workings of the ministries, how the money is being spent and stuff like that. I think we should have heard from these people. If we really are honest about it, we should have heard about this. And quickly, another set of things he said he berated Shasney for you need to put real people around him. He needs to put people who can speak the truth to him, speak the truth to power. He said people around Shasney have no courage, have no backbone. If Stanley himself was being honest and he had backbone, he would say what I've said there. He would be honest and say they prevented him from speaking. Now take some courage and go against the SLP grain and speak the truth and say what happened. He would also say that the Prime Minister lies. He call him out on his lies. When the Prime Minister, for example, say he knows nothing about a gun buyback, oh yeah, but it was a success. Both cannot be true at the same time. You either don't know about something or you know about it. So there are a lot of areas where Stanley could speak the truth, could hold people accountable, and he doesn't do that. You know, he failed to realize Claudius and the PM, they're master politicians. What they've done is they go to a strategic point, they cut the debate, and they change the subject with the dexterity of Harry Houdini. You know, Houdini, the guy who makes things disappear. They do that magical stuff, and they close the proceedings, cause a kerfuffle, and now it became about all the talk shows, everybody, Shasney walk out the house. None of these supposedly smart people, and I have no doubt they're smart when they want to use it, none of them chose to speak about the $2.1 billion budget. I've listened to them, well, not the budget, statement of revenue and expenditure. None of them have addressed that, which is what really runs the country. Shasney doesn't run the country. Shasney doesn't determine the price of gas. Shasney has nothing to do with our lives in the country right now. He can dictate the price of gas. Philip Jappier can do that. Why don't we tackle what Philip Jappier said when we spend more than a week on Shasney, when he's not the one affecting the price of sugar? You know, you have to be stupid or have your head so far up SLP's butt that you cannot even speak the truth. That is wrong. We need honest journalism. We need people who can ask the hard questions and people who stop falling for those lies. Everybody's just leading the country, well, not everybody, but most of them are leading the country down a blind alley. None of these supposedly smart people are able to decipher the truth from the lies and come honest with us. I listen to them and I get sick to my stomach. We deserve better. We deserve much better than what these people are giving us. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Somebody in the NewsSpin WhatsApp group says, a caller said he was disappointed in Stanley this morning. Like, bro, you're 8 years late. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages. We also have the NewsSpin news of the day. And we'll squeeze in a final update from Jean-T.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
La Clinique de Corps leads the Caribbean in advanced MRI, aligned with globally recognized standards. Avoid overseas stress, delays, and cancelled scans. Reports in 24 to 48 hours. No translation, no overseas processing. Your doctor receives your imaging directly for seamless continuity of care. All major insurance accepted. Call 451-6559. Once again, 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. The WhatsApp number 721-9950.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Bob and Dave were very proud to buy their mom a new energy-saving fridge with lots of smart settings. They remember the old ways of energy saving. Mom always said, "Close the fridge, you're wasting current." Smart advice then, smart advice now. Close the fridge, you're wasting current. Saving energy is what's smart.
Art in the City is back, rooted in culture, bold in expression. Brought to you by the Cultural Development Foundation. On Friday, April 17th, the celebration begins in Beaufort. Art in the Street at the New Market Complex from 10 a.m., followed by readings and rhythms at 7 p.m. On April 24th and 25th, indulge in the Icon Series 4-course gala dinner at Sandals Grand, honoring culinary master Edward Chef Harry Joseph. On April 26th and 27th, theater lovers gather at Warehouse 11 for Don't Call Me Baby Doll, written and directed by Travis Weeks. Or head to the Caribbean Cinemas for screenings from the Jumpstart Film Project. From April 27th to May 16th, experience Life in Color, a visual arts exhibition at the Audi Showroom and Orange Grove Plaza, featuring works by St. Lucian master artists. On April 28th, the stage comes alive at Sandals Grand with 10 to 1, the Mighty Sparrow musical, produced by Raul Gibbons and directed by Louis McWilliams. On May 1st, journey to Ancillary for Fish Friday, an evening of storytelling with George Fish Alphonse and Kidel Sonny. May 2nd and 3rd, experience Triptych, directed by Kendall Hippolyte at Warehouse 11. On Monday 4th, feel the power of poetry at Voices of the Underground, featuring world-renowned dub poet Linton Kwesi Johnson. From May 5th to 7th, Artscape concerts pop up in unexpected spaces, dance, theater, music. And on May 7th and 8th, discover handcrafted treasures at T-Tax ABC Craft and Souvenir Market. On the Rodney Bay Strip. Art in the City 2026. Rooted in culture, bold in expression.
Super Jazz and Arts. That's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Super Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. DYB, Afar Alain, Ezra the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reasons Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP village experience for $400. Purchase at FourCircleTickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Soufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf, Creole Breakfast Fest, Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience.
This is the world's most monitored talk show. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. What a wonderful and well account from Principal/Consultant on Audit, Mr. Frank Myers, for the call on public scrutiny of the CIP report. What we the people obviously was exposed to by our comical Prime Minister was indeed an excuse for myopic accountability practice to the highest degree. This was an insult to the intelligence of the populace. Take for instance the last meeting in the House, which clearly defines the level that some politicians will stoop. Very dark and dangerous. Portion of sarcasm, where the people demand for better and clear accountability from the people representing us at political level in this country. That's according to a WhatsApp message. And let's see if we go through some of your other messages. The caller who said we don't have the tools to go against the U.S. probably never heard the term never fight fire with fire, or the pen is mightier than the sword. We are not asking to fight the U.S., but speak out on the wrongdoing. If you're not crying, then no one knows your pain. Another WhatsApp message to all the people who are supporting the SLP government. Shame on all of you. A real St. Lucian will never do that to sweet St. Lucia. But remember, all the money you're getting for that is only for a time. Jaja, don't sleep. The wicked only for a time. Another WhatsApp message. It says they're an example of the Prime Minister covering up for ministers. They were probably not prepared. That's why the Prime Minister cut the debate short. And somebody also says via WhatsApp, some said we don't need the U.S., while others said we don't need the white people. And some even chanted, who needs a visa when we can go to Africa? I respect this man, the Gigi. It's not about him, but more about the hypocrites who chanted those same words. Hope they continue to go to Africa for medical assistance. But in 2019, Philip J. Pierre was the opposition leader, and he and his team walked out of the House so many times that Kenny and his team have walked out of the House. So what is the problem when Alan Shastney walked out? Why it is a big problem. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. Somebody says that Tim paid my Lucy Lake bill on Monday. It has already gone up by $40. I'm not in a res or anything. Another one says, good day. The CEO of Wasco is wicked just like our Prime Minister. Good day, Timothy, the CEO of... Okay, I don't know why you would say that. And I could only assume maybe because you do not have any water. But that does not make her wicked. Another WhatsApp message, and somebody says, I've never seen something like that where a country wants answers and the powers that be, they are not taking them on. Answers to CIP. Impacts report. The caravan Mr. Frederick showed. Container of drugs in courtyard. The 3 weeks ago container on the wharf, etc. And yet another WhatsApp message. And it says, the excellent interview with Mr. Myers. Okay. Another one says there via WhatsApp, the Prime Minister needs to stop being a chicken and stop bending down to Trump as a dictator. There is no justification for killing these fishermen. You should have already requested compensation for the families. St. Lucian fishermen now fear the ocean. That is your voice. That is your vote. Stop complaining and take your blows in peace. Another WhatsApp message. Now's the moment for the auditors to speak up and clarify things, since the current explanation is about clear as mud. Another one says, Tim, so many excuses. If you cannot get auditors to produce our reports in a timely manner, then hire Ernst & Young, like Alan Chasney did. And somebody also says, Tim, we all heard Trump at his press briefing state that the kinetic strikes have stopped their fishing industry. Have we heard any Caribbean leader or CARICOM make a statement about it? Are they not interested in the livelihoods of our fishers in the region, or are they afraid of Trump? That same person also says, say thanks to Mr. Myers for me for coming out to defend his profession and that of his colleagues against the nonsense from the Prime Minister, unlike the public servants Kenny Anthony threw under the bus in 2011. And let's see, then another person says, they're good to Tim. Want to let Mr. Haynes know that the House of Parliament is a place for drama. Okay, that's referring there to Mr. Jimmy Haynes. All right, let's hear from you now, Jante, what is happening. But before let me see if I have one more WhatsApp message. The mood is red, and the old people still have to steal saltfish to survive. On the other hand, why the guy holding the old man in his neck just because of saltfish? Just caution the man and find out the reason why he stole the saltfish. What about those criminals that killing people black is white? Go hold them in the headlock. As we speak, saltfish is more valuable than people's lives. Papa, God, put a hand. That's according to our summit. Jante, what's happening in the chat rooms?
Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, our reporters don't do their research before speaking, and that's sad. St. Lucian possesses very competent persons. Tim, what are the plans of the PM to assist the people during the crisis? St. Kitts' PM just announced a reduction by 50% on taxes on petrol and a reduction in customs and excise taxes. Another YouTube comment here reading, it is unfortunate that color determines who is listened to and who is ignored. Boy, St. Lucia in their glory, let them be until. Lol. Caller, did I hear you say Stanley is smart? Really? Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, all events taking place for the season will be at a loss. First 100 days, water insecurity, food insecurity, and public insecurity. People are getting murdered in the PM's constituency, but here you are worried about UWP business in New York. We have another comment here saying, first 100 days, no big bang in growth, only shockwaves of violence. Who will be coming for Jazz with the high air fares? While he is boasting about immunity in Parliament, does he stop to think about the plight of the people who cannot tell the truth from the lies? We have a few more comments here reading, all we know is he's misleading the people, so. There should be shows like Norbert and Spiders to sensitize the public and rally the flubber base to start getting results. Yet, we have the PM converting St. Lucia to a huge marshal, while you are having a laugh. We have another comment here reading, I 100% support the new policies for April 21st. Based on the way the caller is speaking, I am tempted to say that the auditing firm gave him permission to speak on their behalf. I thought PJP was an accountant or economist. We have more comments from our Facebook page reading, my dear, that's rejected SLPs that come across and they want to front row seats in UWP. Everything will trouble them. An audit report can be submitted in an incomplete state, but it is generally considered a deficient filing that carries significant risks, including regulatory penalties, fines, and potential legal issues. I am the M in Flubbo. We have another comment here saying, you guys really can't take the truth. You guys are so used to hearing lies that it passes as truth, and that truth looks strange. We are talking about our passport monies that were stolen, but you're coming here to try to disturb with your nonsense. Man, who cares? SLP supporters have no clue what's really happening. All they know is that the mood is red. Tim, the man cannot and will not understand what you're trying to say. We have another comment here saying, in other words, he's saying don't critique his government. People like this caller, PJP, will give them poop to eat and he will enjoy it and say it is scrambled eggs. Tim, good. Give it to him, such an ignorant man. Another news spinner here said, Tim, the Creole is on point today. I got a Lucy like Bill and I got a high fever because Mitt really has problems with his very own government. We have a few commenters here saying, what can 25,000 do for a constituency as large as Mikud South? And our final comment reading, caller Stanley will never understand. Take a look at him.
Thank you very much, Jante, for that update. And finally, the NewsSpin news of the day. It reads, the United States Pentagon prepares for possible military operation in Cuba. Once again, the Pentagon prepares for possible military operation in Cuba. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.